since I'm recording this video for just email notification like 11:22 5th of November 2022 Dragon Quest Wiki update. Changes to the Dr. Snap Wiki entry. Category added. Dragon Quest tagged monsters. I thought it was figured out. I thought like it's a wiki. People can add whatever they want. Maybe it's an unsubstantiated rumor. And I go and I chase up the Japanese tags for the character for the game and everything. I'm like, there's people talking about it, and it seems like it's people who are wishing that maybe Dr. Snap will come to the latest event. Where they're saying, we'll announce some new monsters. We're gonna finally have a Dragon Quest Monsters Joker crossover event that everyone's been hoping for, because they had the previous two DQM games have had crossovers, and they were like, maybe we'll start going into a DS era games. And I was looking at these people going, I really hope Dr. Snap comes out. Like, I definitely I'd save up all of my tickets and my credits to get Dr. Snap. And like, it would be great if you had Dr. Snap. Dr. Snap, yeah. Like, sure, yeah, maybe some well-intentioned person saw these Japanese rumors and was like, well, there we go. We can just assume it's canon already because but no. I scroll down slightly more. It's actually happening. Oh my god. First new Dr. Snap piece of content in I don't think it's been entirely a decade, but it's been a significant longer time. And literally the first Dr. Snap cameo of any time that's going to ever be in an actual game available in English, canonically available in English. I haven't even looked at it yet. I've just I've scrolled down to the point where actually confirmed Dragon Quest Tact the Twitter account for Dragon Quest Tact is saying, hey, DQMJ crossover now, Dr. Snap exists. New official art of Dr. Snap for the first time literally since the game ever came out. He's had this one slightly strange angled pose for 16 years, I think. Oh my god, and he's all glowing and shit. I had to close the window immediately and come and record this, because I thought I knew if I extended it too long I would be screaming for 50 hours, screaming from joy. Let me clarify, I'm making this video as I wouldn't say a number one Dr. Snap fan, because I do not know how many Dr. Snap fans there are in Japan, because obviously I cannot speak Japanese. I'm here with Google Translate, trying to crawl through the Japanese tags, please tell me this is real, please tell me this isn't just a big cruel Joker universe is playing on me. Oh! I'm really fingers for every finger crunkling and crossing in my hand. My hands are transmogrifying into Dr. Snaps as we speak. I really hope it's gonna be actual story content. New any kind of Dr. Snap saying a sentence. The first time in years, because there was one cameo of him saying a sentence in one Japan only game, and I was it was so sweet and heartwarming. He was so, literally in DQM Terry-One, which is a 3DS remake of the first Dragon Quest Monsters game on Game Boy, the one with Terry in it, which is why it's shortened to Terry-One in the Japanese community. Anyway, blabbering on, that was the first and only time we've had any new story content from Dr. Snap since Joker to that. He's apparently a fairly popular character in Japan. I'm oh my god, yes. There's no fans of him. I'm here holding up the English fandom with a broom. the ceiling is coming down upon me, and you know why this is so good that he might have a chance of having a story content in Dragon Quest Tact? Is because he got so fucked up in the English dub of Dragon Quest Monster Joke. They literally changed his character's entire personality. Probably, I look completely insane, and the fact I've made so many happy, lovely, I love Dr. Snap videos to people who've only played the English version, haven't got the context of the Brazilian retranslation documents I've been throwing at everyone who possibly listens, just constantly, oh god, he had good of good. He was a misguided guy who thought he was doing what was good, and I feel for my heart of hearts, that he couldn't get redeemed in his original game, and there was no choice but to kill the grandpa who thought he was helping his monster friends because he just loves his monster. That's literally his entire motive in Japanese. Like, in English, it's like, oh, I want to go to the dark world because evil, and then everyone's like, oh, I don't really like the plot of Joker because, nothing he does makes any sense. If he's an evil guy and he's planning this the whole time, why didn't he do his, 50 more logical things that could shortcut his way to victory? And I'm like, the amazing answer is because no, he's not an evil guy in Japanese. He's the villain, but he's not an evil guy. Like, it was this genuinely interesting and unique and interesting plot in Japanese where, you have this guy who is just a scrungly scrunklo. He's just a very funny grandpa. He's a very funny and cute grandpa. He's a very nice grandpa. And his entire motivation is just, literally the same motivation that, every hero, every DQM game ever has. He just loves and cares for monsters, but he takes it to a bit of an extreme. He's like, he wants to go to the dark world, the monster world, Makai, the underworld, however you want to translate it, because he loves monster, and he is the villain because he has no capability for evil in his entire mind. He cannot comprehend evil. He's basically a reckless guy jumping into something that's clearly dangerous to everyone except him, and he just doesn't realize, and he is not willing to listen to anyone who's telling him otherwise, because he's so ridiculously optimistic to the point of everything goes crazily on, and he has 50 speech pattern traits of cuteness. This was not a mistranslation. This was an active choice to completely change his character's personality, because it is impossible that they could have missed. But his entire plot is him being well intentioned and him being cute and stupid. He's the stupidest PhD holder in the entire universe. This man has 5 doctorates and no brain cells. He just loves and cares so much, and he's gonna open a portal to hell because he cares so much. And the saddest thing is he's a dark reflection of actual DQM, the original Game Boy games. The only reason he's the villain and the reason his plot doesn't work is because he just happened to be born into the wrong Dragon Quest universe. The rules don't work that way in DQMJ. DQMJ is the darker, the more T-named Dragon Quest monsters games with serious and dramatic and dark and interesting plot implications and stuff like that. You can't just go to a portal to another world any time and it doesn't hurt you. In this universe, going to a portal to another world happens to be a thing that will hurt the entire world, and you cannot do without merging the worlds together. And Dr. Snappo is just oh, that sounds great, merging the worlds together. How could that possibly be a bad thing? And then a big giant waterfall of pure darkness energy falls on top of him, and he turns into a big scrungly scramblo top 10 Dragon Quest traumas. That's literally a thread I saw on Twitter. It was top 10 Dragon Quest traumas, and then people affectionately voting for Dr. Snappo now. He has fans in Japan. He's liked. People were actually on polls asking Dragon Quest TAC to add him into the game. There is more than one person who likes him and draws stupid fan arts of him, and he's just a nice little fellow. He's just a nice little fellow, and the whole Dragon Quest Joker, we have a dark Dragon Quest, we have the dark plots, we have the interesting, the deep plots. The dark plot was, here we have a very sympathetic man who is very stupid and he's doing a very dangerous thing, and he's scrunglified into a giant, his hand is his face and his face is his hand, and it's I don't even... And he's still this is great, I'm a monster now, that's great, I get to be a monster with all my monster friends, I love my monster friends so much, I'm just literally the hero of every other previous DQM game, and it's just because in this universe, going through a teleportal to the monster world is not a good thing. That's how I feel why, that's probably the reason why, the only time you ever had an actual in-story cameo was in the remake of the original Game Boy Dragon Quest Monsters, because it literally in that universe, you go through teleportals to 50 different monster worlds every day. It's just a thing that happens. Nothing bad happens from that whatsoever. It makes absolute sense that that would be the one time you have a crossover with Dr. Snap and you actually it just ends fine. Nothing bad happens. He's not the villain, he's not the antagonist anyway. You literally just he says some funny sentences at you and then becomes best friends, and then he's just your friend, and then that's it. He's just you literally avert the bad ending of DQMJ just by Terry literally just walks through a teleportal from his world into the world of DQMJ, like, right before the boss battle is happening, because, like, Dr. Snap is just standing in the boss battle arena from DQMJ, and apparently it's, like, the only way I can put it is, like, the timeline is like, it must have been, like, a situation where, like, you lost a battle to Dr. Snap, you teleport back to the scout post, he's just standing there waiting for you to come back and continue the battle. Terry walks in from a portal out from the side of the screen, and he's just like, oh hey, cool, a new monster, and Dr. Snap's like, oh hey, cool, a new monster-loving friend, and like, let's say some humorous sentences at each other and become buddies, and then they do, and then they just leave, and then the DQMJ protagonist presumably just walks in on screen and is just like, someone resolved my plot without me knowing. Can you imagine how confused he must be? Like poor Mr. Cool, just like, oh my god, I failed, I've lost this boss battle, I'm never gonna be able to save the world. He just wakes up and is like, oh no, somebody else did it off screen. And then blue skies return to green maze forevermore, thanks to some unnamed youth in a little blue hat. And poor protagonist, like, gets nothing for his trouble. I'm going really off topic, but I'm really, like, Dr. Snap has, like, 5 cute catchphrases in Japanese. That's the topic I was going back on. That's why I'm so excited that he's going to be in Dragon Quest Tactics, because, like, he's going to be in another actual English dubbed game, which means we have a second chance to actually correctly translate the man's personality. This could be a chance for Dr. Snap to finally, like, regain all the fans he lost by not being translated correctly the first time. I could be, like, looking at, like, an amazing future ahead of me where, like multiple Dr. Snap fans exist in Britain, and my mind is blown. It won't just be me and, like, my friends who support me from a distance and, like, give me a thumbs up, and they don't really understand, and I love all my friends. I love all the friends I've, like, commissioned for, like, fan art of this character. It's like, oh my god, all of our work is paying off. He's finally got one new official art. Oh my god. Like, before this, I clear you know how much I, like, flipped my mind at the fact he had, like, one, like kind of off-model drawn, like, four panel comic on, like, one Japanese official website where it's literally just Dr. Snap teaches you how to make pickles. That's it. That's it. That was his introduction in this other Japan-only app game. Was just like, you know, he's a big old spooky guy. He's gonna pleasantly give you a tutorial on how to use his powers to make pickles, not actually how to use them in the game. It's so funny, it's so cute. I can't believe that Darkonian pickles are a canonical thing that exists in the Dragon Quest universe. And that just gives you an example of how cute he is in Japanese, seriously. Like, oh my god, he practically talks, like, you know, when they revealed that new Pokemon, like, influencer character, and, like, her Japanese speech quirks are literally what Japanese Dr. Snap does. Like, he talks like a cutesy anime character. Like, he literally, they even change his adorable laugh in Japanese. He goes, "Nya," literally Papyrus. So, like, the only Japanese characters who laugh like that: Papyrus in Japan, anime cat girls, and Dr. Snap. Like, oh my god! Like he canonically has a Skeletor voice in Japan. I just want to hug him. Oh my god! I'm crossing all my fingers, like, Jesus Christ. I hope that nothing, like, surprising and awful comes out of the way, and, like the English version of Dragon Quest Tact gets, like, cancelled before the Dr. Snap event can come out in this region too. Like, oh my god! Like I know you gotta wait like a year and a half between, like, events coming out in Japan and English, but oh my god, fingers crossed. I'm like oh, things all of my crossed, and, like, oh my god, I really hope that he is going to have, like, actual story content where, like, there's any chance of, like, just one sentence of, like, him being cute is now going to be in English, and people will know that he was cute, and cute was he. If it comes out and it's just going to be, like, hey, we have some story content with, like, DQMJ protagonist, and we're not actually going to show the final boss, let alone adorable content of the final boss, I'm going to be not upset. I'm still going to be happy. I get to have him on my phone. I get to, like, on my phone, just like hat on his head and he does a silly little animation. Like, I literally started playing Dragon Quest Tact on the off chance that my favourite character would eventually be in it someday. I haven't played the game in months because, like, I just got bored of the grind. I'm really not good at gacha games. Like, I tend to get, like, overly addicted to it. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna tell myself, like, after I get Dr. Snapped, I'm not gonna like pay money to get any more characters in the game. But I know. I was saying, like, as soon as they drop Dr. Snapped in this game, I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna break my like promise to stop doing gacha games. I'm gonna become like the whaliest of whales if I don't actually give him with like. Because it's more fair than other gacha games. They give you a reasonable amount of like free tickets, and you get to do like event content whether you actually paid or not, and like you get a reasonable amount of free tickets from doing the missions of the event content. So like I would still be able to see whatever story content they did put for Dr. Snap, even if you just have to pay in the gacha to actually like pull the character onto your team. You still get to see the introduction of the character and the adorable cuteness and the yarn. What if he has a battle road? What if he has like what if he has like a hero quest? Like, does he count as a hero or as a monster? Because I mean, he was a human. There is an off chance that they could break the rules. They could give him a hero quest, because usually battle roads, you only get like one of those per event. You get like one or two of them per event, and they usually tend to be whichever characters didn't already get story content in the event. So the odds of him getting a battle road, like when they give you an actual gainable hero character, like you gain a human character, they give them like the equivalent of battle roads for human characters is hero quests. So like if there's an off chance that we could get like 2 story events of Dr. Snap, like it's more likely we will get 2 story events for the DQMJ hero, which would be good because again, this is a game where the character is completely like no talking personality protagonist. So I'm just excited to see what personality they give him, because like, it's probably going to be very likely it's going to be like funky, cool, rebellious guy, because like I mean, just look at his design, like oh my god. But I want to see interactions. I want to see like the glowing ideal could be like Dr. Snap redemption finally happens like over a decade later in an app game out of nowhere. Like, the power of Mindidi will somehow cause Dr. Snap to finally get redeemed, finally like settle his difference with the Tico and J protagonist and the Incarnate, and like realise, oh actually I did a big old fucky wucky and I was actually the villain of this game. Holy shit. Like maybe the power of a sheer and adulterated like monster happiness in this game will finally like get through to this misguided like non-evil man who did not deserve to. He dies in such a sad way too. It's like the saddest ending. Like it's what I really like. I honestly like. Much as I appreciate DKMJ for being dark in some ways, which led to us having his character in the first place, I think it was too much of a dark note to like literally have the plot be like the adorable and pleasant man who's like being cute right up to the moment he dies, and there's no option. You cannot convince him, you cannot stop him, you cannot befriend him. He will always like go off and fuck up the world, and like they at the last minute they pulled out like a really bullshit excuse for why you have to kill him. It's like off screen without us showing us the Incarnate's mark like fused with his body, and now you can't get it back unless you kill him, and like we didn't show it in the cutscene. We showed his transformation scene entirely off screen. So like, oh my god, what if he has like a pre-boss battle like animation scheme? What if we finally actually get to like have an animated introduction to a Dr. Snap boss battle that's not limited by like early DS Dragon Quest game limitations? Like, oh my god, that would be so badass. Like, because I mean, like he's got one of the scariest designs in the whole franchise. If you actually like had like an animated cutscene of like adorable little grandpa model turning into like big the biggest monster of all big. I think like it would like both you have a chance to both establish like Dr. Snap is cute and also Dr. Snap is badass, and completely change the opinion of the English fandom of him like overnight with this. Like, oh my god, my fingers crossed. Oh my god, I'm gonna look at the new official art now. Again, like more than just glancing at it in a small thumbnail, because holy shit. He is here! Grandpa is here! No worries, Snemple is here! Oh god. I like this. His art has him doing more of a smile than the previous one. He's really hard to draw in like these realistic. That's why whenever I draw a fan art of him, I stylize him into more of like a goofy chibi blob, because like his design is just like so overly complex. Like every time I've seen any official art of him, it kind of looks slightly like totally different, like the proportions and everything. But I like his, like, they made his expression more smiley. I like that. He doesn't look like hello, a stipple is here. It suits his personality more, because like, that's why in Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 3, I really dislike the model they gave for him in that game, because like, for some reason that's the only game where his model is like usually has like more of a neutral expression on his model, because like, obviously, like, in future games, in future cameo games, it's just like, the Dr. Snaps as a species. Like, you can go and catch a Dr. Snapped, but there's only one game where the Dr. Snap comes back in a story event. But like, so they don't just always have it be like grinning like a big old goofus doofus mess. But now we do have an official art of him being a big old goofus doofus mush, which seems in my mind to indicate that we are indeed getting a story event of actually meeting the Dr. Snapped, and like, story happens, rather than just like, oh, you can get a Dr. Snap on the gacha, but he's not part of the story. And tactics boss battles with Gremple. Oh my god! Well, I wonder what they're gonna do for that. Like I'm anticipating a like in the new tactics gameplay, like the most in character thing they could do is just have him like constantly summon ally reinforcements, because like that's his whole personality. Is he just loves monsters so much, he like almost destroyed the world because he wants to hug Dragon Quest slime. Like. It could be like a gauntlet boss battle of like every wild monster from the entire event just like all comes back, and he keeps summoning them, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, what if he summoned all his monsters from the original game? I would cry if his original team from his original fighters like got summoned. Like, oh my god, they came with him across the world. Little Slimo the Slime loves his grandpa so much. Oh god. And Mohawker and Buffalo, I know they were first introduced in Dragon Quest 8, but they will always in my mind be like Dr. Snap's adorable children, because that's literally a translation change. In Japanese, he introduced them by saying, oh hi, these are my cute kids. Like pretty much literally like one for one, every moment in the English version where he says like, oh, my monsters are my friends, in Japanese he was saying like, these monsters are like my adorable children, my children, my family. And like, every time he is not saying my friends was when he was in Japanese saying he's like 3 times as much, constantly saying I love monsters are my best friends, like all the time. His Japanese bestiary entry was you know, in English his bestiary entry makes no sense. It's such a weird like underwhelming joke, because you have to play like I did a challenge to like synthesize Dr. Snap before Dr. Snap's boss battle, and that took 108 hours to do, and apparently like it takes a lot less time if you do it like in the post game with all the additional. It's easier to catch metal slimes and stuff, but like it's still like you're playing like a 50 hours or so of grinding on like this incredibly hard side quest to make like this incredibly hard monster, which requires like 50 other incredibly hard monsters to make, and like the only reward you get for that in the English version is like the most underwhelming bestiary entry. Or was it? It was like, oh, he never did have many friends at school. That's it. Like after all that, the game starts to get in one little dig, like how much we hate Dr. Snap. By the way, he's a loser. He has no friends. In the Japanese equivalent, the bestiary entry you get is literally Dr. Snap talking to you and saying, "Oh, I'm so happy I've become a monster." Like that's it. He's just like, "I'm so happy to be someone's favorite, to be someone's favorite monster." That's his line. You are my favourite monster, Dr. Snap! Like, and like low-key, like, fingers crossed, and like, the closest thing we actually had to a redemption arc is, like, I know, like, rationally, it's just, like, they just threw in some flavour text in character to, like, to the bestiary entry, because, like, I as a reward, like, I'm like, what if this meant that I actually did, like, bring him back to life by persisting so much in this really, really fucking annoying side quest? What if this was him saying like, oh yeah, everything is forgiven, we are now friend, and I'm not dead anymore, I'm here and I'm friend, like, please in this event, like, literally just walk up to me and say the words like, Dr. Snap did not die, this is now canon, now is now like canonical ending to Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, Dr. Snap is okay, and he lives in your phone, and you can pan him on the head and he does a funny animation, and he's your pal. I need to calm down before I literally explode. I will edit all this into a coherent video. I will like upload this like right now, like unedited with like no anything, because I cannot wait the time out. I'm gonna put the big new image on the screen. I'm gonna throw this up because people need to know. People need to know the snaps are coming. The snaps are coming. The snap is back. The snemple is here. The Dr. Snumple Smoo. I am literally holding my homemade Dr. Snap plushie right now on my desk, where I have like 3 in progress projects of making small Dr. Snap figurines. Next to my desk, I have my finished project. Next to I have my other 3 plushie projects of Dr. Snap. I have like one really big one, and I have like of him in most of them. I have one. The one I'm currently working on is a small one of him in human form. That's actually even more difficult to me, because like doing like realistic human arms, like trying to make a small plushie is hard to me. I'm trying to make a bigger plushie, which is just like I have like a giant pillow-sized blob with Dr. Snap's face on it, and that's what I have. I'd like. And I have a commissioned plushie I ordered from a really cool plushie maker called Charlo Art on Twitter, and like I had it imported from like this artisanal Canadian plush maker person to make a Dr. Snapple Snop, and I just thank you, Dragon Quest Tact. Thank you, Dragon Quest Tact. I will be playing you whilst being surrounded by all my Dr. Snap memorabilia. And so help me God, I really hope this event doesn't disappoint me. I hope it's not going to be like, hey, hello, here's 12 hours of like Dr. Snap still sucks in this game, and like here's like changed English translation characterization is now canon forever. We're going to remove any cuteness we had in Japanese. I want Dr. Snap to have a pleasant picnic with all the Dragon Quest Tagged characters. I want him to meet Cogsworth, the Grandpa Killing Machine character, Cogsgrove. I keep thinking Cogsworth because it just makes more sense. Cogsgrove, the Dragon Quest Tagged Grandpa Killing Machine robot monster. I want him to meet and be grandpa friends and have a pleasant tea time and talk about how much they love the grandkids and just there's like 50 million different possibilities that could happen for a Dr. Snap event. Like what if it's like it's not even him like being like actively malicious? If he just came to Dragon Quest Tactful, like Dragon Quest Tactful is literally a world where like there's only monsters and humans are the legendary creatures in this world, and like if he came there, like, that's literally his dream. He wanted to go to a world of all monsters, and he's coming here, like, everything is great, and he would have no reason to fight anyone. You know? He would have no reason to be a villain in that world, unless, like, the Dragon Quest Joker hero came along and, like, well-meaningly tries to stop him when he's not actually doing an evil plan here, and then it goes into a big old conflict, and then, like, it ends positively where it's like, oh, actually, if we just leave Dr. Snap in this world and, like, go back through the portal, and, like, literally all our problems will be solved and no one has to die, and, like, happy end, so help me God. Like, I think like, what the possibility of a plot is like, what if the villains from Dragon Quest Tag like trick him into something because he's so gullible? That's his thing. He's like, he's a gullible nice man, and that's how all the problems started. And like what if like Melina and what's his name? I think something I played, I've forgotten the name of the villains. Like, you know, the evil walking corpse guy who's a butler, that guy who like the guy who like mind controls Melina and made him evil and is evil, and I really dislike that guy. Anyway, what if he's all like, I see there's some mysterious super strong monsters come through a portal, we're gonna go over there, like, he's gonna be like, oh my liege, demon lord, come join our side, I'm gonna betray him, you know, once I get his power I'm gonna betray him, and then like Dr. Snap is like doesn't fall for any of that plan because he's just a nice guy, and then the villains like comically react to that, and then we have like okay, there's tea and cupcakes over here. You can hug a monster friend or 12. We have tiny hats for slums. Literally like 1,000 like easy lies you could tell to this man to get him to like instantly accidentally join the side of the villains, and it would be funny and it would be cute and it would be a reason to conflict for him and also a reason for it to be resolved well with like the Joker protagonist realizing that Dr. Snap is not harmful in any way in this world and it's like his ideal world, and like he gets happy ending, we get happy ending, no worlds have to be destroyed by accident by a funny stupid man, and and he cupcakes and life good, and Dr. Snap joined my party, and I gently hold him within my phone and pat him on the head a lot. And like, you can pat the monsters on the head on the main loading screen, and they do little animations. I'm excited, like, what his little animations gonna be. It's probably most likely it's just gonna be like recanned animations of like his ones in the previous games. But it would be so cool if we put like unique animations of him doing a happy dance or something. I'm like, did you know there is only one game where you can see Dr. Snap doing a happy dance? Dragon Quest Monsters 2, the 3DS remake that was only in Japan, which had a fan translation which you can find online, the sequel to Terry 1, which is the one game where you can canonically have the Dr. Snap in it, and if you use the sometimes buggy translation, sometimes buggy in the fan translation app to transfer your save data over from 1 to 2, you can get the Dr. Snap with you to go and do a happy dance in the farm, because there's like a feature in that game where like you can go around the farm and you can see all your monsters, and you can press a button to do a funny little dance, and the monsters will do a funny little dance in the background. And I have screenshots of that. I'm probably not going to miss it. Like I said, I am just going to like throw it up as a stream of consciousness screaming, and I'll probably make an actual edited version of this later, but I have too many words. I have too many words and too many feelings. God, I remember, like, I have been so, like, starved for Dr. Snap content for so long. I remember I literally clapped at my computer screen when I found, like, a low-resolution, really blurry image of, like, this one Japan-only app game which had Dr. Snap in it. Not Dragon Quest Monsters Super Light, which is the one which had the Draconian Pickles comic on it. That one there's a lot of documentation about because it's still currently going. But this one, Dragon Quest Monsters Wanted was a previously discontinued Japan-only app game, which is in a pixel art style, which means it's the only chance you get to see a pixel art version of Dr. Snap, except on the status screen in Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 1 and not Joker 2 or 3. And I only managed to see a very tiny blurry sprite, and I tried to make a sprite recreation of that, and then that was a project. Now, like the last time I did a new Dr. Snap news, and Dr. Snap news. Did you know Dr. Snap is voted the 44th most popular monster in the DQM 25th anniversary polls? That just gives you an example of how much he's like more loved in Japan. He's like relatively frequently you get more tweets in his tag of people talking about him. Like both people who hate him and think like, oh, he was really gross and awful, and like people who just like remember him fondly, and like the fact that he even remembered makes me so happy. There's people who don't like forget this man. It's like top 10 localization crimes making Dr. Snap forgettable. My mind's exploding with the possibility of all this, and like I think I'm gonna go and buy a Monster Energy, because like to be like Dr. Snap and to consume Monster Energy and become Monster, and like I really want to draw a funny comic about, because like literally a translation of like the Japanese equivalent of Darkonium, like the characters for it is like it's like magic element, so like it's literally Monster Energy. I want to make a comic about where he's like oh, I need to collect the Darkonium, and then he's like he just like digs up a Monster Energy, and it's, I don't even know what I'm on about. I'm really getting like incoherent levels of like you can't see it, but like while I've been saying this, I've just been like flailing my body around in like ridiculous circles while recording. Probably the audio quality is not very good because of that. I've been like slapping my desk repeatedly in happiness. Oh my god, I'm basically doing the idle animation of Dr. Snap. I'm gonna shut up because I've been talking for 33 minutes about this. Oh my god. YouTube needs to know, so I will now upload this. Farewell. I will make some summary, like future continuing videos about this as the information unfolds. I will find if there's any way I can actually like play the Japanese version of it and actually get to like see the event. Even though I have no idea what's going on in the event, I'll probably have no idea how to play it. I'll probably like fumble myself off a cliff and die 50 times. I want to see images of him. I don't want to wait a year and a half to see more images of him. More images of snimages, please. Snimages. Also, I forgot I have a sinus infection. I should not be doing ridiculous evil laughs. Anyway, that's been the conclusion to Montfort gets so happy about a thing that they completely destroy their nose. Hooray! I will leave you now to go and make additional videos about how happy I am. For Snappy! For Snappy!